RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And welcome to
RTF
RTF Sports Talk. I am the host of the show, Michael Buckheister. We apologize about the late start. That's my fault. Got off a little late. But we will get things going here as soon as we can for you. But as always, I'm here with Billy Hatton. Billy, how are you doing today?
Doing all right. On vacation, chilling with some family. Always good to talk some sports, though.
How is sunny Florida treating you?
Always doing. It's been hot, man. You know, I haven't been used to that humidity in a while. Been out here in the desert in that dry heat. Came up to Georgia today, so this Georgia's kind of gloomy here today. Sprinkling rain, not really raining, but it's a little gloomy.
Okay. Well, speaking of kind of gloomy weather, gloomy stuff, Amari Cooper has been traded to the Dallas Cowboys. The Oakland Raiders did get a first-round pick in this. They're up to three first-round picks now in this upcoming draft. So, Billy, I'm going to ask you the question: who is the winner in this trade, and does the Cowboys really improve as Amari Cooper as their number one wide receiver now?
I think to kind of cop out here, I think it's a win-win. Honestly, I don't really think any team really won. It helped both teams. I mean, now the Raiders are stockpiling draft picks. That's always good. And then you got the Cowboys, who was in very need. I mean, they needed a deep threat receiver. They needed just a number one receiver. They didn't have another one. They didn't really have a number two. Cole Beasley, I guess if you want to count him, but he hasn't really been the Cole Beasley as of old. And he's not a guy that you can ride, on to a Super Bowl. And I'm sure that's what the Cowboys are hoping for, a Super Bowl. That should be what they're hoping for. So I think both teams got what they needed out of it, and now Amari Cooper may be hooking up with Dak Prescott. That pass game should be kind of fun to keep an eye on.
So you don't think either team won simply because the Oakland, they don't know how to draft, or like, why do you think Oakland came out on top on this one?
I mean, they get a first-round draft pick, and then they get rid of a receiver that they probably wasn't going to have past this year. The season was already a flop. They wasn't going to go to the playoffs. So, I mean, what would Cooper give them this year? He gives them nothing. So you already know from the reports that I read, they wasn't really going to do business with him because of the agent. So
right.
Since they already knew they wasn't going to do any business with him, they don't want to do what the Steelers are about to do, what the Seahawks already done, is that let Earl Thomas walk for nothing, because when you could have traded him and got some value for him, now you get nothing because he's hurt. Le'Veon Bell hasn't signed a tender yet. You get nothing for him at the end of the year when he walk. And why would you want to let Amari Cooper walk when he still has a lot of trade value? He's still a young wide receiver. And why would you let him walk for nothing? They got something for him. I like what they did.
So the real question is, do you think Amari Cooper has anything in the tank, and do you think he can maybe project the Cowboys into a playoff berth with their conference so weak? Or their division so weak?
I think, yes, to answer your first question, yes, I do think he has a lot left in the tank. I mean, as I just mentioned, he's young. This is just his rookie deal right here. So what? Cooper is maybe 25 years old. That's prime wide receiver age. I just think he needed just different scenery. Sometimes you start to play better when you go to a different team. Him and Derek Carr kind of really wasn't in sync a lot of times. So I just think a guy like him, he needed different scenery, maybe playing with maybe playing with a different quarterback, we're going to see a different Amari Cooper. Because I know when I watched Amari Cooper come out of Alabama, he was explosive. He was the best guy on the field. Even though his first 2 years, over 100 catches, he has that type of ability in him. I just don't think it was with Derek Carr.
So this is simply off of speculation and like gut feeling. Do you think the Cowboys go after Dez Bryant in these final weeks of the of the open market here?
No, not a chance. No. Because now they feel like they got it. You think about, Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh have Big Ben, who Dallas is assuming that is Dak Prescott. They have Antonio Brown, who now they think the Cowboys think they have that in Amari Cooper. They gave up a first-round pick for him. And then you have Zeke in the backfield. That was their Le'Veon. That's what the Cowboys are hoping that they can get, the production. They got the quarterback they want. They got the running back they want. And now they have a receiver. It's time to go compete.
And I have to agree with you on that. If you guys are new to the channel here, go ahead and subscribe to the feed here. I see a lot of you starting to pop in, and definitely appreciate that. Go ahead and give us a like. Feel free to interact in the chat as well. And when you do subscribe to the channel, be sure to click that bell icon, because Billy and myself, we do breaking news when it comes available. And speaking of breaking news, Patrick Peterson has officially told the Cardinals that he wants out of Arizona. So Billy, do you think the Cardinals are actually going to let him go? Because there have been reports saying that they aren't going to let him go. They're going to hang on to him till the end of the year. Do you think he'll actually get moved somewhere?
No, I don't think he'll get moved. And it's good that it's crazy you asked that question, because I was just on ESPN, the ESPN app before we got on, and it said the GM said that they are not trading Patrick Peterson, that they are not moving Patrick Peterson, and that's crazy. So looks like Pat Peterson's going to be there, but we have seen this before where they said they're not going to do something, and it ends up happening. It happened to DeMar DeRozan. We're not going to trade you. We're not going to trade you. Boom. Traded to San Antonio now. So, stranger things has happened, but I don't think that they're going to move him. But it would be smart for them to move him because of what I just said. You don't want him to walk for nothing. So,
yeah, and
I don't think he gets moved.
And my Kansas City Chiefs have expressed interest in him as well. Like, they expressed interest in him a while ago. So there's definitely value for him. So they would kind of be not smart to not move him. But at the end of the day, it's not our decision, I guess I should say. But
that's true.
Yeah, but moving on to the association here, the game of the year, you can probably say it was LeBron James opening game in LA versus the Houston Rockets, but the game got overshadowed by the Rondo CP3 fight. Allegedly, there was some spit throwing, or some Rondo allegedly spit at CP3, causing the brawl. So, Billy, just as a man yourself, I want you to walk through the fight. Like, what do you think actually happened? And is there a rivalry starting to brew with these two teams because of this issue?
The fight, what happened? I think what happened was Brandon Ingram took exception to James Harden. Everybody in the league, they know how James Harden flails his arms, how he gets people to, or how he gets the referee to call fouls for him. And I think Brandon Ingram, it was already kind of chippy, I guess. Brandon Ingram took exception to that, and he pushed him. Now, I've seen a lot of angles. In the ESPN angle, that wasn't really a good angle. I seen an angle where Shannon Sharp posted up on Twitter. A really, really close up, like right on the face close up. And it looked like Rondo spit on him. Now, people are saying, oh, that's just happening when you have a mouthpiece in and you're trying to talk. But I understand that. I play football. I know how that works. That looked like Rondo spit on Chris Paul. And as a man, I don't blame Chris Paul. Now, I don't understand why, if you thought he spit on you, though, why you would just, mush him. Why wouldn't you just hit him to start? But that's another thing. Do I think that this will be a rivalry? Probably not. These teams probably just want to like each other. I don't think that makes it a rivalry. Because I think it's going to be a lopsided, it's going to be a one-sided thing, and that's not a rivalry. Rivalries aren't one-sided. But these teams definitely won't like each other, that's for sure, and the next time that they play each other, you can almost bet that it's going to be this. Almost kind of like how the Warriors and the Clippers were when Chris Paul was playing for the Clippers. I expect that type of environment every single time, but I wouldn't call that Warriors-Clippers thing a rivalry because the Clippers never won. So,
okay, there you go. And for those of you that are watching us on the YouTube live feed, I was playing the ESPN view, and you can definitely see when Carmelo, or when CP3 wipes his face, but you don't see any projectile spit coming out because when I think of somebody spitting in the face, I think of Bill Romanowski on that Monday night game back in the day. But
yeah, but if you go to Shannon Sharp posted up a really clean view. I mean, when I say clean, like it was clean.
Yeah, it's
and you can
it's
see
a super
it.
HD close-up view. Yeah, I think I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And from that view, that don't look like just talking. That looked like he spit on him.
So the real question is, does Carmelo Anthony look like a punk in that clip? He is just standing off to the back there saying, "Oh, what just happened? I'm not even going in there to help my boy out."
Hey, you know what? I have more problem. I don't even have a lot of problem with Carmelo. I have more of the problem with LeBron. Why is LeBron? LeBron should be defending his teammate.
Oh,
you and Chris Paul are cool, but y'all ain't on the same team right now.
Yeah, that was a bad look for him as well.
To me, LeBron, it looked worse on LeBron.
Oh, all right. All right. So let's go ahead and move on from that. I mean, that topic has been pretty hit up and dissected to a T. So like as Billy said, if you want to get up the closer HD face version of the fight, look up Shannon Sharp on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter here, be sure to follow the Unpopular Opinion podcast on Twitter as well. The link is in the description below, as well as follows Billy's podcast of Unpopular Opinion on any podcast available out there. So moving on to the next segment of today's show, we're gonna go back to the NFL here, and Billy, I'm gonna ask you a question here. I mean, it's kind of a rough pick or whatever, but in your eyes, currently teams below 500, which team to you has a best chance of making the playoffs this year?
Mike, this one, you put me in a pickle with that question, because I mean, I want to go Cleveland because I see what kind of ball that they're playing.
The ball just has to bounce their way one game.
What'd you say?
Yeah, like the ball just has to bounce their way one time, two times, and then
exactly.
they would be 4-2 instead of 2-4 type thing. So
Exactly.
yeah.
I know this team is playing a lot better, but see, that would be the easy answer for me because I watch that team closely.
Right.
So I'm going to go with, you think of a team like Jacksonville, who in that division, who knows what can happen. The Texans are 4-3 right now. Tennessee is 3. They're tied with Tennessee at 3-4. That division can go either way. You have the Eagles that's under 500 right now, who definitely in that division with the Redskins can go undefeated. I mean, can win that division. But I think the team with the best chance, and I'm going to say right now that just gave themselves a good chance, is the Dallas Cowboys. They have a good defense. Their defense is top of the league. They got one of the top 2 running backs in all of football. And now they just added Amari Cooper. I think the Cowboys is probably the best team below 500 to get to the playoffs.
That's probably a fantastic pick, and I couldn't agree with you more. But what about the Atlanta Falcons? Did they not show you anything this past night versus the football Giants? Like, do you think they can make a late season push?
Well, the Giants are terrible. So I mean, that didn't really do much for me. The problem is, are they going to be able to stop people?
Right.
Matt Ryan has been lighting up all year, and they've had a losing record, and they had a losing record. So, I mean, the Atlanta Falcons really don't really. There's really no concern there. I don't see them making the playoffs, especially not in that division. The New Orleans Saints is 5-1. The Panthers are 4-2. They are behind big time in that conference, and they won't get a wild card spot.
So, like, what team is below 500 that like you think if they make a couple moves in this last week of the trading deadline that they can push them over the top?
Based on need, I think if the Jacksonville Jaguars, if they can move Blake Bortles and get a quarterback for him, I think he would. I think that team will really make a strong push in the AFC. If we was watching the game last year, the Jacksonville Jaguars had the Patriots down. I think the reason why they couldn't make it, they couldn't get over the hump in that game, was because of Blake Bortles. He cannot push the ball down the field. He's not a reliable target. I mean, he's not a reliable passer. So, I mean, he'll give you one game where he's looking, like an MVP. Then the next game is like, yeah, this is the guy that we thought that he would be. And the Jaguars was forced to give him that contract this year, because they didn't know what they could get for him, because they was picking so late in the draft. They knew they wasn't going to be able to come up and get Rosen or Baker or Sam Darnold. So they had no choice but to pay him. And, and now they're having to deal with that because they paying him. But I think if they make a move, they get a quarterback, I think they'll be good.
Do you think Derek Carr from the Oakland Raiders can push them up over the top?
I'm not sure. Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Blake Bortles for sure, but I don't know if he's the guy that can do it in Jacksonville. And
so,
I'm not saying they need
guy?
like a superstar. I'm not saying they need like a superstar quarterback, but I just think they need just somebody who won't hurt. I think having a Kirk Cousins in Jacksonville would have been perfect.
Okay. So a quarterback that is on the market, do you think there's anybody that would fit that mold in Jacksonville, like Eli, maybe a Teddy Bridgewater, something like that?
No, I don't, because I don't like Teddy in that offense, but it could help with Leonard Fournette, and then they did just trade for
Carlos Hyde.
His name is
Carlos Hyde.
Carlos Hyde, yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, Teddy Bridgewater may work if you're going to change your offense around, to have it more run centric. It already is because of Leonard Fournette, but a little bit more like RPO style. I think Teddy Bridgewater will work in that system. But just to take him over the edge, I don't know if anybody right now would just be able to do that.
And speaking of the Jaguars' backfield, they did sign Jamal Charles last week or 2 weeks ago when they knew that Leonard Fournette wouldn't be back the next week, but they recently had just cut Jamal Charles as well with the addition of Carlos Hyde. So they're definitely they're trying to figure out that running game back there without Leonard Fournette in there. So moving on from the worst teams in the NFL to the best teams of the NFL. You have the 7-0 LA Rams and the 6-1 Kansas City Chiefs. In your eyes today, October 23rd, who is the best team in the NFL between those two teams?
I'm gonna say that the Rams on paper probably is the best team, but I think the Kansas City Chiefs is the best team in it. To me, I like Mahomes. Mahomes is he's so good to be so young. He has an arm. He's accurate with it. He can throw it on the run. He can throw it falling back. He can throw it across his body. He can make every throw on the field. Not to mention, he has the best weapons in the NFL. At least the combination of weapons with Hunt, with Kelsey, with Tyreek Hill. You add Sammy Watkins in there. You have Conley. That team on offense is loaded. DeAnthony Thomas, when they want to throw him in there, they have talent around him. To me, I think the Kansas City Chiefs is the best team. On paper, yeah, the Rams, because they got, Sue and Donald and Talib, and Peters and Goff.
The defense is nice.
Yeah, they have everybody, but I think the Kansas City Chiefs is better.
And Billy, I have to echo exactly what you said, and let me tell you why. The Rams they did not leave the state of California the first month of the season. They played 5 home games so far. Their 2 road games were against a horrible Seattle team and a mediocre Denver Broncos team, which they were both close games. So just to all the points that you said, Patrick Mahomes is better than Jared Goff. Their running game as a whole, as in Kansas City, is better than the Rams. Their special teams in Kansas City are better than the Rams. The only thing the Rams have going for them is the defensive side of the ball, and playing in California in a warm environment. That defense is nice, but it is not as crucial as if you were to play in a cold weather environment playoff game. So,
but they have the big names on defense, and they've been subpar. Sacking the quarterback and all of that other stuff. So they defense really need to step up because they're supposed to be way better than they are. Just me, Mike. Just give me the guy that can put 60 points up on the board. Give me that guy.
So basically, you want to outscore the other team, make them open up their playbook, so the defense isn't a factor, correct?
So defense is not a factor, and that's the reason why I always say doesn't matter how good your defense is. That 2000 Ravens defense
nice
would not be good if the quarterback wasn't doing his job as well. You have to score points.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. Wasn't it Trent Dilfer that led them to the Super Bowl that year?
Trent Dilfer, yeah. Yep.
So yeah, and Trent Dilfer is definitely not a top tier quarterback at all. Not at all.
Not even close to it.
So with your reference of the 2000 Ravens team, does this Ram team have a glimpse of that at all? Maybe the defense can hit their stride in week 10, 11, 12 and kind of make that strong playoff push and possibly a playoff or a Super Bowl sleeper pick?
Well, I don't know about a sleeper pick because I think they hitting people head on right now. I mean, they're undefeated, so they're not sneaking up on anybody.
Right.
But I think this defense have the potential to be that good. I mean, they're good on every level. I mean, how often is it that you have Michael Brockers, Ndamukong Suh, and Aaron Donald on the same defensive line?
Right.
You have two of the best shutdown corners in all of the NFL and Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib. And you can bring in Sam Shields to work your slot. You have Joyner and Barron linebacker. You have Joyner back there at safety. They're good on not great on every level. They're great on the defensive line. They're okay, good in the linebacker department, and they're like good to great in the secondary department. And they're slacking, but I think they do have the potential to be that good. I mean, or at least as good as the Denver Broncos was the year that they won the Super Bowl.
All right, and I am still bitter that the Chiefs let Marcus Peters go. Yes, I know there was issues here in Kansas City with the flag thrown in the stands and discipline and like all that crap. But Billy, let me ask you this: when the Rams and Chiefs play in Mexico City, I believe it's week 11, week 12, they play down there. Is this a Super Bowl preview in your eyes?
I don't think so.
And
I don't think so. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, who do you not have in there?
I don't have the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Okay, who do you got for them?
I have New Orleans in the Super Bowl for the NFC. I think, man, Drew Brees and that offense is special. When you can have Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram and Michael Thomas, with Drew Brees. I mean, this guy is amazing. It seems like him and Tom Brady isn't really aging. So, I got the New Orleans Saints in the Super Bowl for the NFC.
All right, so
the AFC is still debatable, but I could put Kansas City in there. I just don't think the Rams will make it at all. I think the Kansas City Chiefs have the potential to make it.
Okay, so bold statement. Who are your Super Bowl picks as of, I believe, is week 8?
As of week 8 right now, if I had to pick, I would go New Orleans and Kansas City.
All right, you heard it here first. New Orleans and Kansas City Chiefs. Who wins it?
I think Drew Brees and the Saints get it because I think their defense is a little better. Pat Mahomes learned, though, and then, Kansas City need to get their defense together. And I think New Orleans is the only team. I think they are the best scoring offense in the league, statistical-wise. So, they have to get their defense up because New Orleans can score just like them but play better defense.
So just words from Matthew Lyle that we're missing today to hear that the Chiefs need to learn how to win. Is that kind of what you're thinking? No, because I think that they've been battle-tested enough. I think they've had enough tough games. I mean, obviously it's not like the Super Bowl, but I think they've had enough of those tough games for Mahomes. You only need, they always say the quarterback, your young quarterback always grew up on the road, and he went to Denver. He went to Foxborough, and he battled, he battled with a Bill Belichick defense and a Tom Brady-led offense. So I think he's been battle-tested enough. I just don't think their defense will be good enough. I think Mahomes will still be great and put up the numbers just like Drew Brees, but I just think the Saints' defense is better than the Kansas City defense, and that'll be the difference in the game. So this is my plea to the Arizona Cardinals. Please trade Patrick Peterson to the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll offer a first-round pick. I'm sure all the fans are with me on this. But let's move back over to the association. Last time we all talked, Carmelo Anthony was a big topic of choice, and the show definitely got heated. And it was a great show. If you guys missed the show, there's a little explanation point up at the top right. I linked it there. click on that and watch the show. I believe it was about 20 minutes in when we started talking about Carmelo. But Carmelo Anthony is a part of the Houston Rockets currently. His last game versus the Los Angeles Clippers, he had 9 points on 3 of 8 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3-point range. So, Billy, the question I'm going to ask to you, judging by the talk that we had last time, and from what you're seeing with Carmelo's 25, 26 minutes a game, with his 8 or 9 points average as well, do you see Carmelo Anthony being with the Rockets at the end of the season?
No. I think they're going to trade him. I said on the show the last time we did it, it's hard for a guy like Carmelo, who's been an alpha, who's been the top dog. Man at Syracuse, man in high school, McDonald's All-American. Him and LeBron. He goes to college. He wins the national championship. They both come out in that 2003 draft, LeBron and Carmelo. Melo goes to the Denver Nuggets. He gets them to the Western Conference Finals during that, during his span there. He's the man. He goes to New York. He's still the man. He's getting paid the money. He goes to OKC, and they limit his role. He was still a starter, part-time almost. But he's behind 2 guys that score first, not pass first. His numbers dip. Now he goes to the Rockets, and they want him to come off the bench. And that's a tough way to get over stuff. It's like if you were playing a sport and your coach, you never started before. And then your coach tell you, "Oh, you're gonna start today." You pump. You get extra hype. You want to do good. When you come off the bench, it's like, especially when you've been a starter. When you had this, and then now you come off the bench, it's going to be tough for him to get over that. I think they get rid of him.
So, what do you think a good fit for Carmelo would be, in your opinion?
I think any team that don't have a star.
LA?
Any team that the Clippers?
No, the Lakers. Do you think he would fit in there?
No.
Nope.
No. Only because if they're gonna bring him in to be a starter, I like that. But if they're not, they're gonna get him to bring him off the bench. I don't think he works. Because I think he works well with what LeBron does. Spot up and shoot. Wait for the ball, shoot. That's what Carmelo does.
Right.
So he will work in that system only if he's a starter.
All right. So any likely landing place in your eyes, like I heard you say the Clippers, do you think that's a place where he would like to go?
Probably not, but they don't have a star there. DeAndre Jordan gone, Blake Griffin gone, Chris Paul gone. The only problem is, do they just sign him to a 1-year deal? Because you already know Kawhi has already expressed interest in going there, and Jimmy Butler has already expressed interest in going there. Do they mesh well with Carmelo? So you'll have that dilemma.
Okay. So, I definitely feel like that this trade talk or cut talk or whatever is going to really start surfacing probably this December time frame. Because let's be honest, the NBA season really hasn't amped up that much, and the only reason why we're talking about it as much as we are is because of the CP3 Rondo fight. Yep. and the debut of LeBron in LA, where like LeBron James could have tied his shoes in that fan base would have went crazy. It was just madness in that place. So Billy, just a final question. Like I know we did not plan for this like at all, but I gotta ask you this. Because me and you have talked about Urban Meyer before, like off air, just in general chat. How long do you think Urban Meyer fakes a heart injury and gets out of Ohio State with Wilder on top?
I think this year. I think he gets out there this year. They lost to Purdue, and it was a bad loss.
Purdue physically
And,
dominated that game. Purdue physically dominated
Say
that
again?
game. The Purdue
Oh, yeah.
Boilermakers dominated that game. There was no
Yes.
chance Ohio State had coming back in the second half, or pretty much after the second quarter, that game was over. Purdue had it.
Yes, for sure. So I mean, the hard problems already came out. He already got the excuse coming. That's what everybody do. I think maybe this. I think this year, if not this year, for sure next year. Because he
And
can try to say, "Well, I tried to fight through it and I just couldn't do it." So that's going to be his out.
well, and the reason why I actually did this question is because I was reading through Facebook, the good old interwebs, and I saw a article where tensions between Urban Meyer and the Ohio State front office, so like the AD or whoever else, tensions are starting to run high, and they were already on high with the whole Zach Smith thing. So, do you think, like you said, like this is his final year there? If they win a national championship, do you think he comes back next year?
I actually think that would be the perfect getaway for him. I won a national championship. Oh, I'm done. I don't really need this anymore. It'll be his walk off. It'll be his Ray Lewis. While he's still on top, because nobody would be talking about any of this stuff that's going on if he wins a national championship. So no, that'd be the perfect way to get out.
And yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what every player's and coach dream is to end up on top at the end of the day. But some more breaking news into the RTF Sports Talk here. Kelly from the Denver Broncos, their backup quarterback, has been arrested. I can't get the story to load on my phone, but he has been arrested. So for those of you that care about that, coming from ESPN, I believe his name is Chad Kelly, has been arrested. So
Yes.
breaking news
Chad
on
Kelly.
RTF Sports Talk. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon, and get more breaking news as it comes out. But as always, Billy, thank you for joining me today.
No problem. Yeah, I was trying to get it to load too. It said he was arrested on suspicion of criminal trespassing. According to the Inglewood Police Department, he was taken into custody on Tuesday. Not sure that he has an attorney. According to a man, court records, the woman told the police a man came into their home uninvited after 1 a.m. on Tuesday and sat down on the couch mumbling incoherently. So he was probably drunk.
Yeah, so he was probably drunk, going to his ex's house. Ex didn't want him there. Called the police. Now it's a big story. Sound about right?
Sounds about right.
All right. So, Billy, as always, thank you for joining me. Where can people contact you if they want to talk sports with you? Where's the best way to contact you at?
On Twitter. If you get me on Twitter at GrandHefe, GRANXJEFE, all one word. You hit me up on there, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm probably gonna respond. So if you want to talk some sports, get at me on Twitter.
Yeah, and me and Billy are almost always sharing stuff with each other on like on there. So feel free to join the conversation as well. But Billy, as always, thank you for joining us.
And
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
and I tagged you in that Rondo thing.
All right, perfect. I will check that on my way to football practice. So, guys, we will. Today is Tuesday, so we'll see you Thursday at 1:00 Eastern time. As we dive into the college football week number 9, we'll have a few pick'ems, and if some more news happens, we'll definitely break it to you as we can. But as always, guys, thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe, share this with a few friends, like, and comment below, and we'll catch you on Thursday at 1:00.